The Supreme Court rules in favor of President-elect Bongbong Marcos, dismissing all petitions challenging his candidacy. Several officials of the Bureau of Customs and the Agriculture Department are being accused of alleged involvement in large-scale agricultural smuggling. And Metro Manila will remain under COVID Alert Level 1 until mid-July as the IATF implements a change in the metrics used for classifying alert levels. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The Supreme Court has dismissed the petitions challenging the candidacy of President-elect Bongbong Marcos. The SC voted 13-0, dismissing the petitions against Marcos Jr. This affirms the previous COMELEC decision, junking the cases for lack of merit. The petitioners cited Marcos Jr.'s conviction for failing to submit income tax returns for several years as the reason for invalidating his candidacy. This dismissal by the top court clears the way for Marcos Jr.'s inauguration as the 17th President of the Philippines come Thursday, June 30. And speaking of the inauguration, the camp of President-elect Bongbong Marcos says the event on Thursday will be solemn and traditional. The program will kick off with the singing of the national anthem by actress Tony Gonzaga. There will also be a 30-minute military civil parade, followed by the inauguration song, Pilipinas Kong Mahal. Supreme Court Chief Justice Alexander Gesmundo will be administering Marcos Jr.'s oath of office. The incoming president will then deliver his inaugural speech. And according to Marcos Jr.'s camp, he will not be using a teleprompter. Marcos Jr. is sticking to tradition for his oath-taking this week. Let's find out what customs to expect on Thursday in this report by Maricel Halili.
I have asked Bang Pandoy and his family to be my guests in this inaugural ceremony as proof of my resolve to obtain for families like theirs all over the country the humanities of life.
The inauguration of President Fidel V. Ramos in 1992 is considered a template for how the presidential oath-taking ceremony is conducted. This usually begins with the president-elect fetching the outgoing president in Malacanang Palace on the morning of June 30. Upon arrival, the president-elect will stay at the state entrance and wait for the outgoing president to go down the grand staircase. After greeting each other, they will ride the presidential car together. The president-elect will seat behind the driver while the outgoing president takes the back right-hand seat. Both of them will then head to the incoming president's inauguration venue. The outgoing president is supposed to receive his last full military honor upon arrival at the inauguration venue. Afterwards, he will leave the venue as a signal for the program to start. However, this changed when former President Cory Aquino chose to stay until the end of Ramos' inauguration program. The program proper begins with the national anthem, followed by the ecumenical invocation and the inaugural song. After this, the Senate President will read a proclamation announcing the results of the elections. This is traditionally followed by the oath-taking of the Vice President-elect to secure the constitutional succession. However, Vice President-elect Sara Duterte already took her oath last June 19 in Davao City. At exactly 12 noon, the President-elect will take his oath with his left hand on the Bible. Although it is not stated in the Constitution, the Chief Justice usually administers the President-elect's oath. After this, the traditional presidential anthem will be played. The armed Forces of the Philippines will then give the first 21-gun salute to their new commander-in-chief. This will signal the new president to give his inaugural speech. The new president will then go back to Malacanang Palace to lead the oath-taking ceremony of the new members of the cabinet before holding the first cabinet meeting. Upon arrival at the palace, the new president will climb the main stairs. The inaugural event caps off with an inaugural ball in the evening for government officials and members of the diplomatic corps. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
Meanwhile, preparations are also underway for Marcos Jr.'s first State of the Nation address on July 25. House Secretary General Mark Leandro Mendoza said they are conducting a series of meetings for next month's SONA. Part of the plan is to have the event back at full face-to-face capacity at the Batasang Pambansa. However, this will depend on the country's COVID-19 situation closer to the date.
Two scenarios pa rin naman tayo. Yung isang face-to-face na 100% yung capacity ng building, ng plenary. Tapos isa naman na scenario, just in case na wag naman sana, no, yung if ever tumaas yung COVID cases natin para mas health and safety ng mga papasok sa session.
One News Now will be back with more stories after this quick break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Several officials of the Bureau of Customs and the Agriculture Department have been tagged as either suspected smugglers of agricultural products or their protectors. A committee report filed by Senate President Tito Soto listed 22 individuals. These include Customs Chief Ray Guerrero and Agriculture Secretary Ariel Cayanan, as well as some local government officials like Navotas Mayor Toby Tiangco. In a statement, Tiangco challenged the allegation or called the allegation ironic since the city government of Navotas has been actively working with authorities to prosecute suspected smugglers. Cayanan of the DA likewise denied his involvement in smuggling, dismissing the report as a demolition job.
Wala pa po akong any traces or any tainted name regarding po sa pagpoprotekta ng smuggler. Dapat po yan po mga investigahan nila talaga. Yung merong mga ebidensyang sinasabi na may mga ginawa po silang irregularities.
And the National Capital Region will remain under COVID Alert Level 1 until July 15th, despite the uptick in cases nationwide. JC Cosico with the report.
The Health Department warns that daily COVID-19 infections in the country could balloon to 17,000 by the end of July. This as the agency notes a 21% decline in the public's compliance to health protocols, along with low booster coverage and increased mobility.
Batay sa ilang mga projection na maaring tumaas ang ating mga kaso kung mababawasan ang pagsunod natin sa minimum public health standards, gayon din kung hindi po tayo magpapabakuna. Bagamat projections lamang po ito, mabuting tignan natin bilang gabay.
These projections were released just as the country recorded more cases of Omicron subvariants. 50 new BA.5 cases, 11 BA.2.12.1, and 2 additional BA.4 cases were reported by the DOH. Majority of these were from Region 6 and have since been tagged as recovered. In total, the country has 93 BA.5 cases, 43 BA.2.12.1, and 3 BA.4 cases. Meanwhile, the IATF has revised its matrix in classifying areas. The average daily COVID attack rate will now be used alongside hospital occupancy rates, instead of the 2-week COVID-19 growth rate.
The 2-week growth rate is no longer relevant at this time. Kasi 2-week growth rate ka, kung 0 case ka, tapos nagkaroon ka ng 300% ka agad, high risk ka na. 3 kaso lang. Kalokohan, di ba? Hindi naman na ito panahon nung wala pang bakuna.
With this, NCR areas that were recently placed under moderate risk will be reverted to low risk. These include Pasig, San Juan, Quezon City, Marikina, and Pateros. The region as a whole will also remain under Alert Level 1 until July 15. Apart from the updated metrics, the government has also released new testing requirements. And vaccinated on-site workers in both public and private sectors in Alert Level 2 areas and above are required to take RT-PCR tests once every 2 weeks or weekly antigen tests. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.